What's going on, you bunch of heathens? First off, I just want to say thank you for all the love on the last Fat Electrician video. This has got to be the fastest one of my videos have ever like gone past 2K views. So that's just really awesome to see all the love on it. But today we have a Fat Files video. It's about Waffle House, which should be pretty fucking fun. And we all know the memes about Waffle House. So without further ado, let's jump in.
Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. I actually debated on which channel I was going to upload this video on because on one hand, we're going over a business and the business model that it has. But on the other hand, this restaurant is basically the Roman Colosseum of the South. And I'm pretty sure if you eat there enough, you actually get a deployment patch from the U.S. military. Regardless,
I would have loved to see this go on his main channel
for the occasion.
Oh my god, he really did.
Waffle House. Okay, just to be completely clear with everybody, I was pretty sure I was not going to get caught off guard because Waffle House is already
I've never actually been to a Waffle House. I know my nephews have and my parents have, but I've actually never been to a Waffle House despite living in the South for quite a bit.
They managed to actually surprise me, and we're going to get to it right after a word from our sponsor. Yeah, babe, what's up?
Hey, I need a boombox.
Why the fuck is her? I love the fact that her fucking
All right, bye.
1 hour later.
ringtone is Darth Vader or the Imperial March.
What is this?
The boombox.
No, I wanted something to play
It booms
music with.
and it has a box on it, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I got this instead.
Okay, we'll go to the store and get me a boombox so I can listen to music.
Can I keep this one still?
I don't care.
This video is brought to you by Delete.
I'm sorry, a boombox? Really?
Model. You give them money, they turn around and they make sure that online data brokers are not selling your personal information online. Okay, here's the deal. Pretty much anytime you use a free service on the internet and you click that little box that says, I agree to the terms and conditions, you've basically just agreed to allow them to harvest as much of your personal information as humanly possible. They then turn around and sell that to online data brokers, and that's how they can afford to offer you a free service. But when you have Delete Me, they go and they monitor all of these online data brokers for your personal information, and then if they find it, they submit all the opt-out forms on your behalf, so they have to take down and stop selling that information. So when you buy Delete Me, you're not actually buying anything, you're just buying your way out of all the negative consequences of all the free shit that you've already gotten. And because they continue to monitor those data brokers, you're buying yourself out of all the future negative consequences of all the free shit that you haven't even gotten yet. So if you want to give Delete Me a try, there's going to be a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, Waffle House. Our story begins with a gentleman by the name of Tom Faulkner. This man graduated from law school at 23 years old.
I'm sorry. If this is the dude who fucking started Waffle House, the fact that his name is Faulkner just makes it 10 times better. The fact that the founder of Waffle House, if this, I'm assuming that's who this is, has the last name of Faulkner.
Bar and immediately gets drafted in 1940 in the days leading up to World War II. Because he graduated from college, he's presented with two different options. He can A, go straight into officer training, and that's a 3-year commitment, or he can just be a normal draftee and go in as an enlisted soldier, and that is a 1-year commitment. Now you gotta remember, at this point in time, like 1940, while World War II is currently going on, America's not involved yet. The attack on Pearl Harbor has not happened, and prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor, the American people did not want to go to war. Because of that, Tom Faulkner figures, hey, we're not actually going off to war. I don't want to waste my time just. According
to Ikvetch, I believe is his name on YouTube. He comments a bunch on my videos, which I love. I love his comment because he's very obviously into history, and I really enjoy reading his comments. Apparently, actually, according to him and according to all that, U.S. sentiment towards the war was actually more pro war than what most people actually think, apparently, which I didn't know about. I thought it was just mainly negative war up until Pearl Harbor, but I guess not. But either way, if you go back on some of my other videos, like I know he mentioned he was on my oversimplified videos for like World War II, and then a couple other ones. He talks about it quite a bit, and it's super cool, interesting to see what he says about him.
Being in the military, not actually, fighting a war or whatever, so he chooses to be a draftee. Goes into the military as an enlisted soldier, E1 private. From there, goes off to basic training. As soon as he gets through basic training, the attack on Pearl Harbor ends up happening. America enters the war. He immediately opts to go into OCS training and commits for 3 years. After he completes the officer training course, he actually gets slotted to be a counterintelligence officer, where he does, and I quote, A lot of top secret stuff.
You see, my identity must remain mysterious and my mission secret. I cannot reveal
a lot of top
you can
secret
actually
stuff.
tell in the interviews that he gave later on in his life, like in his 70s, 80s, and 90s, that he's still not sure what he is and what he isn't allowed to talk about. But he did end up
That's
telling
fucking
us
cool.
that basically it was his job to try to sneak onto military bases, not as military personnel. So he would basically disguise
so he's
himself as like a painter or a carpenter or whatever, and try to infiltrate
kind of like
the
what
US military.
what's his face? He did a video on it on his main channel. Ching Lee, the naval dude, when he got put in charge of the fucking naval whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna get on all these bases to get us a prep for war." And he was able to get on as Hitler, I believe, is one of them. So he was basically one of those dudes to basically check to see how far he could get onto a military base without actually having the proper documents. So some pretty cool shit.
Weaknesses within the system to help counteract enemy spies. So he does that for a
So
couple
yeah,
of
some
years,
pretty
and then
cool
one day
shit.
he ends up getting orders like, "Hey, you're going to Knoxville, Tennessee." And he's like, "Okay, for what?" And they're like, "Don't fucking worry about it. Just show up." So he shows up in Tennessee and he's given his orders. And those orders, I'm paraphrasing here, but they're essentially, "Hey, here's your partner. You two are going to hop in that truck and you are going to drive it from Knoxville, Tennessee to Los Alamos, New Mexico. You guys are going to dress in plain clothes.
Oh,
You're not going
shit.
to look at what's inside the truck. You're not going to talk about what's inside the truck. You're going to take this map and take that exact route. This route avoids every major city and every major highway.
Jesus,
You're
he
gonna
got
drive
that
straight
what?
there,
God
53
damn,
hours
really?
straight, taking turns sleeping in the passenger seat and not stopping for any reason whatsoever." And he does this for the next year
Holy
and a half,
fuck.
pretty much nonstop. And then like 20, 30 years after the fact, he finds out that he was actually hauling the majority of the enriched uranium for all of the nuclear testing and the building of nuclear weapons. Which, as we all know, brings about the end of World War II, at which point he gets out of the military, moves back home to Atlanta, Georgia, starts helping his dad out with his real estate agency. Now he does that for about 10 years, and during this time he ends up selling the house right next door to his to another guy by the name of Joe Rogers, and they pretty much become best friends. Joe Rogers was also an Army veteran. He was actually a pilot that flew B-24s in World War II. When Joe got back home after the war, he did not want to go off to college, so he actually just took the first job that he was offered, being a short order cook at a now defunct restaurant chain known as Toddle House. He worked his way up, becoming
Toddle
a restaurant
House.
manager, then eventually becoming a regional manager.
It's an
And then one
interesting
day his
name.
neighbor and best friend Tom Forkner, real estate agent, always looking for the next investment, comes to him and is like, "Hey, I'm thinking about opening up my own restaurant. I can get the real estate deal going."
Oh
on
my
that
God, so it
side.
is.
I just
He's
wanted
the
to
dude
know,
who's-
like, if I
one of the
opened
dudes who
up and
started
bought a
Waffle
franchise
House
of Toddle House, would you
has
be
the
willing
last
to run it
name
for me?
of
Now, at this point,
Forkner.
it's like 1954, 1955. Joe Rogers has a ton of experience inside the restaurant industry, and he
Smart.
basically tells his best friend, like, "Hey, don't open a Toddle House. You should start your own thing. Toddle House's business model isn't that great. If you start your own restaurant, I will help you run it." He then goes
Good
off on
fucking
vacation
friend.
with
Don't-
his family, and by the
don't-
time he
not
comes
giving
back,
him
Tom
any
Forkner
bullshit
has already
advice.
bought the real estate and comes to Rogers and is like, "Cool, what's the business we're starting?"
Where's Pancake's house?
What?
We stop at Pancake's house.
And within the span of like 6 months, the very first of what is
Just
now
like,
the
what the fuck?
legendary restaurant chain of Waffle House opens. And Waffle House is legendary, probably for all the wrong reasons. I mean, even if you've never been to a Waffle House, you've heard about Waffle House because, well,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Kid Rock got in a fight there. You've got Haley Booth, the viral Waffle House cook known as
I didn't know Kid Rock got in a fucking fight in one. That's
the
cool.
last chairbender.
Yes, I remember this video.
There's entire subreddits and YouTube channels almost exclusively dedicated to all the fights that break out at Waffle House. I remember the first time I went to a Waffle House. I
Fucking
stretched
hilarious.
First, I grabbed a GoPro. I was ready to yell World Star. Nothing exciting happened. I just had delicious breakfast at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is probably 99% of people's experiences because despite all of the negative PR, Waffle House makes a ton of money and has an incredible business model. Okay, Waffle House had about $1.4 billion in revenue last year, which is about $650,000 per location. And when you take into consideration that each Waffle House is absolutely tiny, that's really impressive. Out of their 2,100 tiny Waffle House locations, their yearly stats are 58 million cups of coffee, 124 million waffles, 153 million servings of hash browns, 272 million eggs, which is about 2% of all the eggs consumed in the United States of America, and
God damn, that's
85
actually a
million
fucking
strips of bacon.
shitload.
Yes, I did the math. That is about 8,000 miles worth of bacon.
I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
So Waffle House is obviously doing something right. What exactly are they doing? Well, it all comes down to their business model and their branding. Now, with the Waffle House branding, all the negative PR about fights always breaking out at Waffle House, in a way, has actually helped them out a ton because Waffle House, call that negative, is pretty much a regional chain. It's primarily down in the South. Yet, Waffle House has become a household name pretty much. Yeah,
I wouldn't even call that negative. It's just
never even seen a Waffle House, and you already know Waffle House is open.
Oh, I'm not going in there. It's yo, I want to go there.
24 hours a day, and they serve breakfast. Why do you know they serve breakfast? Because their name is fucking Waffle House. I mean, look at this sign. You're driving down the road, you see that, you know everything you need to know.
Yeah, I see that sign. It's just okay, cool. They got waffles.
Breakfast place. If you're not from there and you don't know what a Denny's or a Perkins or an IHOP is, you have no idea. It's just a restaurant, maybe. Waffle House, they're selling waffles, which means there's like a 99%
really fucking smart branding, actually.
Breakfast food. Fucking sold. I'm in. So already,
hell yeah, breakfast food is like the best.
But here's the true genius of it. Why did they call it Waffle House? Why didn't they call it Breakfast House or Bacon House or Hash Brown House?
Well, you got Total House, Waffle House
had the highest profit margin. I cannot stress to you enough how absolutely genius that is, right? Because you don't need to sell breakfast, all right? Everybody's already in on breakfast, okay? I could be blackout drunk at 4 in the morning, and you could ask me, hey, do you want breakfast? I'm coming up like the Undertaker every single time. And then you go, the only thing open right now is Waffle House. Okay, I was already sold on breakfast from the get-go, but because Waffle House is where we're going, guess what I'm getting? A motherfucking waffle, and they're making more money. It makes sense that Tom Ford was a counterintelligence officer.
Makes fucking sense.
The man literally said 2 words and has already subconsciously tricked you into ordering the most expensive thing on the menu that makes him the most money. So the branding of Waffle House is both simple
the waffles
and
are fucking amazing.
And the rest of the business model matches that to a T. Okay, all Waffle Houses
personally,
are like
waffles are better than
They're
pancakes.
Small. They only seat like 30 people, and you can actually see the cook making you your food. Now, at a glance, you're just like, oh, they're just going for that like 1950s drive-through type of a vibe, which they are, but there's way more to it than that. Because the restaurant is so small, the kitchen never has the opportunity to get bogged down, meaning that they're moving tables very, very quickly. So instead of having one kitchen and 100
weirdly actually
smart.
Got
one kitchen and 30 customers, and you can just turn those tables over 3 times faster, which pretty much guarantees that every customer is going to get exactly what they wanted, okay? They're not going in there for 5-star dining. They're going in there because they're hungry and they want breakfast, and now they're going to get breakfast really quick in a small setting that doesn't feel like a packed restaurant where they have to wait in line to be seated. And I know what you're thinking. What if one Waffle House just reaches its maximum capacity, right? What if it's just completely full with a line out the door 24/7 every day of the year? Waffle House surely would build a bigger Waffle House, right? No. We're going to take the same parking lot, and right next to that first Waffle House, we're going to build a second fucking Waffle House, okay? The plan is working, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. Which is
pretty much, if I'm not going to change this because it's working, and if it's really that popular, yeah, fuck it, we'll open another one. That makes sense.
Because their menu is overwhelmingly simple, okay? It's literally one side of one piece of paper. Okay, the entire menu is comprised of like 10 things. They have waffles, sausage, bacon, ham, eggs, toast, biscuits, gravy, butter, and syrup. Guess how many flavors of syrup they have? 1. It's fucking syrup-flavored syrup. The entire menu is simple, exactly how it's supposed to be. Oh, sorry, they have hash browns too. Sorry, 11 things, not 10. Anyways, moving on. Another
it's like the perfect fucking size for a menu. Don't overcomplicate shit.
To taking care of their employees. They pay them higher than average. They have super flexible schedules, and they're one of, if not the only fast food chain that actually offers all their employees healthcare and dental insurance. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. You're like,
I have actually heard
how good.
I have actually heard this, that Waffle House employees are actually very well compensated for their time for their job. Like, that's actually really fucking cool to see.
Are they actually treating the Waffle House employees? I got the one stat that's everything you need to know, okay? Waffle House treats their employees so well that employees are willing to commute into a natural disaster to work at a different Waffle House when the occasion arises. Yeah, Waffle House is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they fucking mean it, okay? Whenever there's like a hurricane coming or some type of impending natural disaster,
there's a reason why it's a meme.
What they call a jump team. A bunch of Waffle House.
There's a reason why it's a fucking meme that it's not in a real natural disaster unless the Waffle House shuts down. The Waffle House shuts down, then you got a fucking problem. There's a reason why that's a fucking meme. They mean business when they mean 24/7, 365. There's a reason why that's a thing.
employees from a different region that's going to be unaffected because they know that their local employees are going to be busy taking care of their own family and their own houses during a hurricane. So they bring in teams from outside the region to work inside of a natural fucking disaster, and they're willing to do it.
I never said thank you.
Just the fact that it's called a quote-unquote jump team is just so fucking cool and funny to me.
Employees to show up on a good day, and Waffle House has employees.
According to my sister, Taco Bell, you can't do that shit either.
Fucking hurricane to make breakfast. And this is the most impressive part of the business because Waffle House has the best logistics and preparedness of any company I've ever seen ever. The only entity that beats them in logistical capacity is the United States military.
Yeah, U.S. military.
Waffle House is literally ready for absolutely anything. Every single Waffle House has the playbook inside of it that details exactly how the staff is supposed to handle literally any type of emergency or situation that could possibly arise. And if for some reason the situation comes across that isn't in that playbook, after it happens, they immediately add it to the playbook. It covers tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, a hole in the roof from a branch falling, a car driving into the restaurant. You can drive a car into Waffle House, and they know how to planning on staying open.
Yeah, and they can fucking deal with it. That's fucking cool.
Every type of disaster for what the local employees, while they're not working, should go home and do to make sure that their house and their family are safe as well. Every single Waffle House
that's
has a
fucking
backup
awesome.
generator. The stovetop, it runs on propane, and they have a bunch of extra propane tanks on hand.
Dude,
flashlights.
this is making me love Waffle House even more, and I've never been.
They have a special menu of what they're able to serve when the water is
like,
out and they're running
fuck
on reserve water. When
W Waffle House
is going to be in a disaster area, that Waffle House stocks up on extra food, and then all of the neighboring locations in the unaffected area also stock up and stage food there to get them more food when they need it. If Waffle House is a
dude, that's fucking so fucking
those
cool.
Motherfuckers are serving breakfast come hell or high water.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Waffle House is so good at this that
that's so fucking
uses
awesome.
them to gauge how bad natural disasters really are. Yes, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management
like I was
Agency,
saying,
literally uses the Waffle House Index to gauge how bad a disaster is. Okay, green, Waffle House is running as normal. Yellow, Waffle House is using the backup generator or having to use an altered menu. Red, Waffle House is closed. People are probably already fucking dead by that point. Waffle House is literally the Terminator of the fast food industry, okay? The fact that the federal government, probably the most powerful entity on the planet, maybe ever, looks at a chain of restaurants and is like, man, if Waffle House is closed, we need to mobilize the National Guard is fucking crazy. Now, maybe you guys are thinking the same thing I was at this point in my research.
Crazy
and I'm
fucking
like, man,
cool.
I need to invest in this company. I need to see if I can open up my own Waffle House franchise. This company's awesome. And this is where the bad news comes in. I mean, technically you can franchise a Waffle House, but most of us probably can't. The company is privately owned. It's not on the stock market. It's still
hell yeah, that's fucking smart.
The original two founders. And while
original
they do
two
allow
founders,
franchises, they are
we're keeping it
super
fucking
picky about who
private.
they let buy in to have a franchise, and they make it very, very expensive to buy in to make sure this is actually what you want. And while that is unfortunate, I think it's actually
unfortunate
awesome.
but fucking
it's a company
smart
that actually has morals and cares about their image more than they care about next quarter's profits. Okay, it's a company.
Hell yeah, that's fucking dope.
Making breakfast under any circumstances, and
let's hope it just doesn't fucking change.
Till the very end, even though they could probably make way more money by just selling franchises and letting whoever the fuck throw up a Waffle House. And now for the fairy tale ending, Joe and Tom worked together as best friends for 62 years to build Waffle House into what it is today. They both passed away at the ages of 97 and 98, and now Waffle House and their legacy lives on as that company is still being operated by their kids. And that is the American dream. Get together with one of your best friends, pick a goal, even if it's something as simple as serving breakfast to people, and never let anything get in between you and achieving your goal, even hurricanes and floods and natural disasters, apparently. Work with your best buddy for 62 years straight, and then die together and hand it off to your kids. In conclusion, Waffle House is the most American company
fucking badasses.
Ever, and that's why I love it. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com.
Oh, that's his fucking merch. That's cool.
Out. Just two homies that dedicated their life to serving my drunk ass breakfast at 3 a.m. I'm gonna get teary-eyed next time I go to a Waffle House.
Those are some real fucking homies right there. Like some real fucking homies. Well, that was the Fat Files or the Fat Electrician on Waffle House. Really fucking cool. Some of this stuff I actually didn't know, but quite a bit of it was like, oh yeah, I've heard bits and pieces of their lore. Oh, that's super fucking cool. Like that they're still going fucking strong like that. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing more of me. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.
For a 30 days and oh, just pop a kidney. I bought a million option of the second I stop doing the grim and I rock. Arena's bringing the piss and mobbing the pack in the car, pretending I got all the eyes on me. Got a bad baby and she's in the band. And too many people other than me that's seeking attention. When they want me, but the groove is man, I should at least stand. And the smell of the money must.